Welcome back to Connect. I am your host, Andy Hale. This is going to be a fun episode. So with me today, hailing from the beautiful city of Sarasota, Florida, which is where my dad was born, by the way, Michael Kinsey is a celebrated photographer, director, and actor. His photographic work has been published nationally by Rolling Stone magazine, Inc. magazine, The Washington Post. Gloria 19 is Michael's second film project and his first episodic short film limited series. His first film, Killer Date Night, a dark comedy short, was a featured selection of the Pan-African, the Sunshine City, and the Hip Hop Film Festivals. Michael and his company, Kinsey 5 Media, will continue to tell new stories with interesting characters and a distinct and unique cinematic style. Michael, welcome to Connect.
Oh, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
It is so good to see you. I just saw you in January when I was down in Sarasota.
Yeah,
You
that's
previewed
right.
the short film Gloria 19 for me, and I was really blown away. And what I've preached on this podcast and what I've been preaching to the audience is we are all creators. We're all artists. And that my mantra for 2025 is create, create, create. Put your art out there. You do not need anybody's permission. And I felt like in talking to you, I was preaching to the choir because that's exactly what you did. So tell me a little bit about what I want to know from you is, to start, how did you get that nudge? How did you get that? What caused you to say, you know what, I'm going to do this Gloria 19. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make it myself, and I'm going to put it out there. How did you get to that point?
Well, the basic answer is I was born that way. been, I've been doing that since as long as I can remember. My start in creativity really, or just being a creator of any kind, was in music. So, from very early on, probably 6 years old, I was, playing a piano and singing and doing all these things. I remember my brother being really excited because I was playing by ear and just hearing things one or two times. And it just went on from there. I've just always been that way. If there's something I wanted to do, I would just do it. I remember reading comics at probably 7 or 8 and going, oh, I want to try and draw that stuff. And, looking at the images and just basic, drawings that looked, I could duplicate what the artists were doing. I could look at their drawings and pretty much do the same thing. And, I just remember being really excited or having my family be really excited about it. And that fueled me getting that praise and acceptance from doing art. And it just grew from there. So I've always been that way. I was one of the first people here in Sarasota to bring live performance through hip hop and stuff. There was no platform for, the kids when hip hop was new. I decided I want to be a music producer, so I needed a place to do it. So I just, probably about 18 years old. I wasn't even driving yet. Got on my bicycle, went to a nightclub, went to a nightclub owner, say, hey man, I listened to this music. He was blown away and we made a deal. And, probably for the next 2 or 3 years, I would pack his club with young kids, and there'd be kids from all over St. Pete, Tampa coming to perform. And it just grew from there.
Man, you've had it, I think, since a little kid. I view that as you were really tapped into creativity. You were really tapped into the things you wanted to do, being artistic, wanting to create. And you had it at a really young age. Tell me a little bit, I've seen it, but for the audience, tell us a little bit about what the premise of Gloria 19 is and what inspired you to make that little short film.
I've always been a person I believe in blessing others and, giving, I believe in giving because I believe that's reciprocal. I believe that comes back to you, not just karma or whatever. It's just like an ebb and flow. I don't think you can even get blessings if you aren't giving them. So I've always been that kind of person. And one of the many young people that I mentor, she's now a young adult and a very gifted performer. She needed some help. and she called me. She was having trouble getting booked out in New York, and she said, "Hey, could you? I know you do films. I'd done a few things," and she said, "Could you write something for my reel? Just I don't need much." She said, "I don't need much. I just need like 30 or 60 seconds." And I said, "Of course I will." So at the time, I was watching a Netflix show called Black Mirror, which is very tech savvy. I love sci-fi. And I thought, you know what? At the time, there are now, but at the time, it was maybe first season or whatever. I was like, man, there really aren't, I don't see very many black women in sci-fi, and certainly not on this show. And I thought, wouldn't that be cool? She was a young black lady. And I thought, wouldn't that be cool to develop a sci-fi hero that centers around a black woman? And I thought it would be really cool. So instead of the little 30 or 60-second reel, I ended up writing her a 3 minute a 3 minute scene. Even though it's for a reel, people were calling me and going, "Wow, this is really cool. What's going to happen in the next episode? Is this a web series? What is this? Like, what happens next?" I said, "I have no idea what happens next," because it ends with a cliffhanger. But so the story takes place in a dystopian future where, inspired by our pandemic that we were getting over. I wrote it in 2021. Dystopian future. There's this horrible disease killing, taking out a third of the population, and there's a genetics corporation doing research in cloning, but the laws are illegal. Cloning laws are illegal, and they use their influence and power to get the laws passed. And they're doing human cloning, and they're cloning immune clones to this disease to procreate with about the 5% of human beings who are also immune to replenish and to they believe that's going to save mankind. And in the course of that story, we find out that there's some other reason that the corporation is doing this. And one clone begins to question what they are promoting as propaganda as the process, which is human cloning and things.
I love it, and I really think you're onto something with this, and especially in the sci-fi space, especially what you said about not many black women in sci-fi projects.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about this too is this is your sweet spot in that you can tell you like sci-fi. And
oh yeah,
I've got this book here, the Rick Rubin book. You heard of this, The Creative Act, A Way of Being? I think you and I may have talked about this.
I was watching a lot of the interviews he did for it.
I've preached so much of in this podcast about some of the things he said, and one of them is this. He said, create what you like. Don't worry about, is the audience going to like it? Don't go into a process saying, I'm going to write something I think the audience may like. He says, write what you like. The audience comes last. I love that line. And so for you, I can tell from, you screened Gloria 19 for me right there in Sarasota at your studio. I can tell how much you love it. I can tell how much it comes from right here in the middle, from a point of passion. And this episode, the reason I wanted to record with you, because I found what you're doing to be so inspirational to me, and I think it'll be inspirational to others. You just decided, you know what? Well, I love the fact that you started out to try to help this friend of yours, and that's how it started. But then it grew from this project of love into something where you thought, I can take this a little bit farther, and you developed it with a love and a passion, and you created it, and it was because you loved it. It's because what you liked. This is what you wanted to make. And that, to me, is the secret sauce. And to anybody out there who, we're all creators, whatever your form of creation is. I want people to hear your story about how you did this. So you create Gloria 19. Talk about, and this is the other thing I want people to realize too, there are ways to get things done. There's not the barriers of entry we had in the past. You were able to basically do this on your own. And tell me a little bit about how you shot it, where you shot it, how you completed it, and then tell me a little bit about the success you've had in putting it out there.
Well, before I do, I want to go back to that quote, that Rick Rubin quote. What was it again? It doesn't matter what the audience likes. You do what you like, right?
The audience comes last.
Yeah.
He is like, don't you create what you like. Michael Kinsey, you love Gloria 19 in the
Okay.
story. And so you're going to put that out there. You're not worried about, are people going to like it? Are people going to think it's weird? Are people ready for sci-fi? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I love about it.
Well, in my case, I'm gonna take it even a little bit further. It was I couldn't care about what the crew or the cast liked. They, I am surrounded by, as you know, all these years of being with artists and being in theater and working with so many gifted and talented creators myself. I've garnered a little respect amongst them. So when I told them about this idea, like most of them didn't fully get it. They read the script and they were like, "This is really good. I don't fully understand this." And I'm showing them the mood boards and the storyboards, and I'm trying to explain, you know. And the actress who played Gloria 19, to her credit, really smart. She got it immediately, so she really understood it. And but the rest of the cast was just kind of surfing on my excitement, my belief in the project, and my
And
body of work.
I love that. Surfing on my excitement, that is a perfect line. I'm going to write it down. Keep going.
So even while we were shooting, there were moments where my camera guy would come up and he would go, "Look, I know what the storyboards are, and I know I'm not fully, understanding and things like that." I was getting tons of questions, and I feel like speaking back to that quote, those are the moments where you really have to believe in yourself, because when you're dealing with people who are, some of them even more talented than you, and they're looking at you to lead in the front things, you really have to have some confidence and know what you're doing. People want to know that they're, following and going behind a very clear concept and a very clear director. So, once we were underway, we were underway. But that, I just wanted to speak to that point, that it's really important to believe in what you're doing and doing what you feel right here.
I think when the magic happens in life is when you are doing things and creating things that are completely and totally aligned with your passion and purpose. So, Gloria 19, you can tell, is something that just resonates with you. You get it. It's a story you wanted to tell and you're passionate about it. Now, when you are that way, you have a certain energy about you. You have a certain contagiousness about you. Like you said, the cast is all surfing on your excitement, right? And because you feel that way, because it feels so good, you're enjoying making Gloria 19. Now, this is when the cast comes together, the crew comes together, it all clicks, it feels good. And that energy is what attracts more opportunities and more people to you. And then I think because you had that kind of energy with it, you created something really special to you. And then once you did, tell me about like where did it go? Like you submitted it and tell me how organically what happened.
When I was working on it, I was arguing with myself, um, because I'd already gone the festival route, and you're talking to somebody who, as you know, there was no budget for this. This was all favors, literally all favors. People just believed in me, believed in the vision, and believed in my ability to tell a really good story. So I was arguing with myself how to present this. It's a 4 episode web series, so each episode is roughly between 7 and 9.5, 10 minutes, something like that. So I didn't know. I was arguing. I was like, "Am I gonna just go straight to the internet and just really promote this and try to build some kind of grassroots following, and then follow that up with a Kickstarter or something like that for season 2? Or should I put this in film festivals and go through the hassles of getting the money and doing this and waiting and taking another year, you know, and just before I can even start putting it out there for people to see, the public to see, got to go through this process." And I was just arguing with myself. And I finally decided to go ahead and do that because I felt like it might better serve, again, back to being more of a giver. I felt like it might better serve the fine people who worked on the film that if it goes through the festival circuit, which is, several communities of filmmakers, producers, directors, and things like that, that maybe they'll collaborate with other filmmakers and things like that. So the next phase was to put it in the film festival. So that's where we are right now.
Where did you first submit it?
Well, we've submitted so far to I think we're only 4 or 5. So far, we're waiting to hear back from the other festivals. They're still in their submission and review phase. We've gotten 2 festivals so far: the Sunshine City Film Festival out of St. Petersburg, Florida, and we ended up winning Best Web Series in that. So we actually won in our category.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And what blew people away too. One of the cool things, and this is one of the things I would tell the cast, is that people aren't going to expect in the short category, independent and indie short, somebody to try to tackle sci-fi on a 0 budget. So you hear sci-fi, you think special effects, you think it's an undertaking. So I had a concept of how to do it kind of based on the kind of sci-fi that I grew up loving, which is, very, very cerebral, very cool, very character driven and things like that. So yeah, I remember that at Sunshine City, people were coming up to me, how much does this cost? How much did this cost? How much did you spend to do this? Because, it looks good.
It's amazing when you watch it to know you filmed it basically mostly all in your studio. When you watch Gloria 19, I was like, you filmed this all here?
I would say 90% of it is filmed here. Is filmed in the studio.
So you won what award at Sunshine Film Fest?
We won
Best Web Series.
Web Series. Yeah, that's what we've been really entering on mostly. And
tell me about, was it also in the Tampa Bay Black Art and Film Festival?
It was. That just ended the last round Sunday, which was our night 2 show. Got a great audience response. And we won Best Web Series.
You say it so chill, like, yeah, and we won. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, when you look at when I saw the other really good films, you get nervous, like, wow, that's really good. So the people who come up to me always say, I wanted to know what happened next. I want to know, even now it ends where, clearly there's more story to tell. So I think that's what kind of pushed us ahead, is that it's the characters more so than all the cool stuff that they're seeing on screen.
So you've got 4 parts. Each episode is what, like 10 minutes? Was it about what it was?
Yeah, about the first episode's like 7.5, and then the rest of them are roughly around 9 minutes. Maybe the final episode might.
So you're basically between you're 40 plus minutes collectively.
It's 37 minutes 25 seconds. Yeah, basically.
So a couple things. I first want to comment on. Not only did you, so what you're doing. I also talk on this podcast about how we create our own opportunities, and you have created so many opportunities by deciding to make Gloria 19. First of all, for yourself, you've gone on this journey that you have enjoyed. You've had success at 2 film festivals. You're going to realize you're going to be making connections with people, and you probably already have, and there's probably going to be connections that haven't even manifested yet that will manifest down the road in the next few months, this summer, this fall. People that hear about Gloria 19, people that want to collaborate with you, people that want to talk to you. But here's the other thing I love. You created opportunities for all those actors and actresses who were in Gloria 19 to now showcase their skill and their craft, right? And you were telling me how you cast, these roles. You could tell that you spent time casting, rehearsing. It's all very professionally done. And so you're creating opportunities for a whole host of people. And I think you're going to realize that a lot of connections and opportunities are going to come your way in 2025. You and I talked about this a little bit when I was with you. I feel that. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. I absolutely feel that.
What's the next chapter for Gloria 19? Are you gonna just, right now it's just continue to do the festival circuit? Have you thought about taking it, to kind of complete more episodes or making it longer?
I'm going to finish the film festival circuit. It's going to a few larger film festivals. The goal there, hopefully, will be to get some representation. I'm really convinced now, after hearing the audience response. When you make these things, you think, well, this is something I love, and I guess I represent probably my age demographic around, 100,000 people in this area. Maybe would dig it. I don't know, but it's been resonating with people much younger than me, women, men, and they've all said this should be on Netflix. This should be on HBO. This should be an hour. An hour long. I don't understand. This is not a web series. So I mean, yeah, they said this is not a web series. This is episodic television. It needs to be on television.
I love what you've done, and there's a couple follow-ups to it. It's the kind of thing where I would encourage you. You're doing the film festival route, which is great, and if you have a list of who are 5 people I would love to watch this, okay? Like if you could make a list of, I would love it if these 3 people could watch this film. Like, do you have anybody in mind like that? Like, oh, I really wish so and so would watch it because I think they would love it. Do you have any big audacious, dreams like that? Who would you want? Who'd be on your short list? Let's manifest it right now.
Tyler Perry.
Okay, that's a good one.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. What about Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to reach out to those 3 people, okay? Reach out to them.
All right.
Reach out to them. Find out, find a way, find an email, find an assistant, introduce yourself, say, hey, you've been an inspiration. I'd love you to see this film. I'd love to get your feedback. Reach out to somebody like that. You may be surprised. What you can accomplish. All right. Will you do me a favor for that? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Make a list of and like I said, go big. Tyler Perry, hell yes, go big. And because and send out that message with love and passion. Send it out with that vibe of, man, I think you would love this film. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to get your input, your creative advice, your career advice. Put that out there and let's see what happens. Will you do that?
Absolutely. Why not?
All right.
Why not?
Awesome. I think a lot of people just don't dream big. They're limited by their own mindset. They don't just be audacious. Dream big. Think, we're not playing small anymore. I think I said that to you when I was in town. We're not playing small anymore. Here's the other thing that's been an inspiration to me. So I told you my son, Hayden, just graduated in April, a 2-year grad program in screenwriting from UCLA. He was a film major at Ringling College of Art and Design right there in your backyard in Sarasota. So he wants to be a screenwriter. Some of his friends from film school, one wants to be behind the camera. One guy wants to act. Another one is, are they musicians? I told these guys your story and I said, you know what? You don't need anybody's permission to create. So what you did, I said, they can create their own version of Gloria 19, whatever their story is. Find a story you want to tell, cast it. So the guy that wants to be an actor, cast yourself in this little short. The guy wants to be behind the camera. All right, you're going to film it. Hayden wants to be a writer. You're going to write it. Another one's a musician. You're going to do the sound. And put this thing out there, man. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. Right now with all of YouTube, TikTok, social media, you can just put your art out there and get noticed. And if you come at it from a point of what you love to do and it's something you're passionate about, put it out there, right? And then share it with the universe. So I've used your story. I don't know, your ears probably have been burning since I was there in January, because I've told your story several times to friends of mine in that position, like, man, just create. And that's what I love about what you're doing, and just do it, right? Just do it.
Mhm.
What are little words of wisdom do you have to somebody like my son or people that are just starting out and, they want to act, they want to tell stories, they want to film?
To not focus on what you don't have and focus on what you do. And if you don't know something, it's a superpower because you can learn. Case in point, I didn't know how to color grade. I was going to get someone to color grade it and schedules, everybody's schedule, and it was, you know, we were running down with time. I took a course on color grading, learned how to
Wow.
color grade, and I color graded the film myself. I mean, it was a process. It was a pain. It was, stressful. I'm up late, and I ended up doing all the jobs that I was planning for other people to do. I ended up doing. So I ended up editing the film, directing the film, writing the film. I ended up color grading the film. I wanted to get this someone I knew who could score and compose. Even though I was used to be a music producer. Well, I still am. I ended up having to score the whole thing. And I did not want to do that, but I actually ended up scoring the whole film. I had to write the theme song, and by the way, that was another thing. People came up to me and said, "Man, that theme song is got me so pumped." Like it's the young lady who stars in the film actually does the theme song. So
What's
it's kind of
amazing
like
about that is, first of all, even if you would not have had the success you've had, because you've had incredible success at these film fests, you've had, but even if you didn't, what a journey because now you've learned all these other
hmm
skill sets that you didn't have. Now you've learned all these other
absolutely.
skill sets. They're going to serve you well in the next project, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you do next after Gloria 19 is going to be better than Gloria 19 in the sense that you now have the Gloria 19 experience under your belt. As you continue to grow as an artist, you're getting better. Every time you get better. And so I've been trying to encourage the younger people, like my son and his friends. You know, done is better than perfect in the sense of don't wait around a year or 2 years for the perfect idea. Oh, this is killer. Like, just fucking create something now, man. Put it out there now. And it's a process because whatever you do next will be better. And you build on that and you build on that. But you just got to be creating. Creators and artists got to create. Don't
Amen.
wait. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for it feels good. Do it. That is my mantra.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like that for my first film. Killer Date Night. That that one was made for $180. It was the same thing. I didn't even. I'd never written a screenplay. I'd written plays, but not a screenplay. I've never directed for film, and I had a little at the time. I don't know what the camera cost, maybe $700, $800 camera that I was shooting portraits with. I just started my business, and I just because I thought the camera was cool and it could shoot and do all these things. I said, you know what? I wonder if I can make a movie, like a little short. And I called a couple of friends who were actors, and and just figuring things out, man. It was one night, and let me tell you this real quick. I have a friend who's a professional editor, edits for like the Discovery Channel and all these networks. He saw a clip of just one clip of a scene because I was asking for some advice. I didn't know what I was doing, and he said, "Hey man, did you shot this?" And I go, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you mind if I edit it?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Yeah. So he wanted to come
Wow.
down. There's a point to this story. He wanted to come down and watch me film the second part of the short because he was so impressed with the first scene. So he came in, and my crew didn't show up. The actors showed up. So my camera person called, "Hey, I can't make it." The guy that was gonna do my audio, the boom operator showed up. He came and said, "Hey man, I can only stay for 30 minutes." So that was just barely enough time for us to set up. I said, "Never mind, you can get out of here." The lighting person didn't this nobody showed up. So I just had actors. And the editor comes over to me and he says, "Hey man, wow, I'm really sorry about this. That I'm really sorry this got canceled." I said, "It's not canceled. It's not canceled. We're shooting a movie. So I ran lights. I ran the lights myself. I'm a photographer. I know how to work lights. I set up the lighting. Um, I grabbed the camera myself. I got really creative with mic placement, and we ended up shooting the second part of that. That got into the largest. That film ended up getting into the largest black film festival in the country, Pan African Film
Wow.
Festivals. Danny Glover, Oprah Winfrey, and all these big people ended up
Wow.
getting in there. And he called
It's
me.
amazing.
That editor called me the next day and said, "Man, that was the most inspiring thing I have ever seen, and it made me feel like I have no excuses." He said, "Michael,
Wow.
when you said who's canceling, I'm shooting a movie." He said it was the most inspiring thing I've ever seen, and I have no more excuses for me. And that's
That's
what it is,
amazing.
man. You have to do what you
That's
got to do.
amazing. Well, before we wrap things up, is Gloria 19, since you're still putting it in the film festival circuit, is there a way for people to see it other than to go to a film fest or
No,
not?
there's no way for you to see it unless you
Okay.
come to a film festival.
So,
The trailer is out there. You can see the trailer.
okay. So how can somebody see the trailer?
You can go to my YouTube channel, which has nothing hardly on it. Oh, Killer Date Night. That film is on it. Killer Date Night is on there. I just put that on there not too
Oh,
long ago.
okay. So it's the Michael Kinsey YouTube page?
It's Silent P TV. Silent P TV. Capital P, capital T, capital V. Silent P TV.
That has the Gloria 19 trailer on it as well?
That has the Gloria 19 trailer, and it has Killer Date Night on there.
Amazing. All right. So
Yeah.
everybody out there, check out this trailer. Check it out. Check out Michael's work. We're going to stay in touch, and I'm dead serious. I want you to reach out to make that list of 3, 4, 5 people, maybe, and just send it out there with love and passion about Gloria 19 and what you're doing, and send it to your top ridiculous wish list. Okay. And let's see.
I'm on it, man.
Let's see what happens.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
I'm receiving those words.
because
I'm gonna take action on them.
this is the key.
Why not?
Because you've got that vibe and passion about it and the energy with it. You've got the energy about your project that I think is going to click. And the people you're talking about already have that kind of creative energy, right? That's who you're going to connect with. Those are the people that are going to receive your energy, because the most important part for you, if you're feeling that energy, and I felt it when I was with you in Sarasota, the smile on your face, you were so excited to show this film. You put your heart and soul into it. You wrote it, you directed it, you cast it, everything. The only thing you didn't do was act in it.
I do act in it. I'm Alan and 8. I'm the AI.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So
yeah, he's a character. He's a character in the story.
If you keep that passion and you put it out there like that, then that's, like I said, that's when things will surprise you. Things will happen. Connections will happen. And let's check back. We'll check back in the summer. We'll see how things go. It was great having you on here. I wish you all the best. Keep on keeping on. Keep doing what you're doing. I think there's a lot more of a road for Gloria 19. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Absolutely.
So we'll definitely stay in touch,
all right?
right?
You're going to hear that title again really soon. You're going to hear it in a big way.
I love it. I love your attitude. To be continued. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Connect.